like the first time you came here, I'm pretty sure you like rolled up in your mom's car.
Not my mom's, because I've wrecked so many vehicles. I even wrecked hers a long time ago that I think Lawson drove.
Yeah.
I didn't have a car.
Okay, so you didn't even have a car like the first, and this was
Yeah.
probably like what, I don't know, maybe 5-6 months ago.
No, it's been longer. It's been about a year probably.
Oh, really? Okay.
For sure, because I met y'all. I can't remember if I met y'all before or after I went to Hawaii.
I think it was after.
Maybe.
It was definitely after because I saw your video in Hawaii and I commented on it.
It's been right at a year for sure.
But I feel like you literally just started Instagram and you just started making content.
Yeah.
And basically, I think you were living at home, basically starting from
I had
ground
$500
zero.
coming in.
Yeah.
That was it. Like, it was ground zero.
And
I
now,
just moved back in with my parents.
yeah, and now we stand here today. I mean, you rolled up in, what is your car?
Honestly, it's just a G37 right now. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not in the. I went to go buy an M4.
Yeah.
And then I got there, and then the markup on it was like $40,000, and I was like, okay, I don't know if I really need all that.
Sure.
And then I started looking at the marketplace, and I seen things like R8s for relatively the same price, maybe a little bit older vehicle.
Yeah.
It's an R8 gated manual V10, and I'm
Right.
like, all right, well, if I could get something like that, then I might as well just hold off. And I told Madison, I was like, if I can just, when I get to $50K a month, I'll invest in something like that. It's kind of like my mark. It's like,
Sure.
when I get there, I'll
Yeah.
treat myself. You
But
know?
here's the point. So not even a year ago, didn't have a car, living at home. Now you're living in the Gulch in Nashville, which
Yeah.
is like the best part of Nashville. Pimped out
Nice.
apartment, crazy view.
Yeah.
You know, you got a pretty nice car. You're doing a business. Like you're running your own business at 21 years old, just turned 21. Like how did you go from that point to where you are now in such a short amount of time?
It's a combination of a few things, I think. I was very tired of where I was at.
Yeah.
Like, I always wanted it this way. I always wanted to do it without college. I wanted to make it on my own. I always told my parents I was going to do it. I told everybody in school I was going to do it. I considered dropping out of school for it. Tried all these different businesses, and just, like, I knew that that's kind of what I wanted to do. And I was always half in, half out. I never really knew which direction to go. And then I moved in with Madison, which is my fiance now, and I was like, I can't be here at my parents' house with you trying to build my life. And I make $500 a month at that time.
Yep.
And I was just like, you know what? There's something that has to change. I'm going to be 21 really, really soon.
Yeah.
And before I know it, I'm going to be 24. And if I stay doing these same things, life will look the exact same. And so I just honestly just started doing stuff every single day. And like every day I was doing something. I didn't even know what it was. It was, I'd pick up my computer, I'd find a task, I'd do research, find something new, get it done. Do more research, figure out what was next, and then I'd get it done. And then eventually it just kind of formed into this thing. And then I would go everywhere, and I would just tell everybody about what I was doing. And like a lot of people say, don't talk, just show. But I had to talk about it because it was what kept it relative in my life, because I wasn't seeing anything in the moment, right? Like in entrepreneurship, everybody's building. It's kind of like working out for the first little bit. You don't really see much from it. Like in that building phase, just like hanging on, knowing that something will come of it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's where I was. So I went all in on it, and I can't imagine like having not started. Now it feels just like every day where I'm at feels so normal to me now. And in such a short period of time, it's like I always wanted to be here. I always envisioned this. So feeling it now, it doesn't feel like a surprise.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So what exactly do you do for people? How do you help people?
Yeah, so I help people build personal brands. So and not just personal brands, but highly profitable personal brands, because most people will go online, they'll post content about themselves, about their brands, and about their businesses, whatever, and they will do it every single day, and they just won't see much like from it. They will put out thousands of videos, get very little leads, very little people. It's because they don't have the proper systems behind their personal brands.
Yeah.
And I realized that, like, I had a guy that I met, his name is Arturo. He's my mentor, best friend, client. He's all in one, right? But I helped him, and we were building his personal brand, and we implemented, like, all these different systems. And that's where I realized, I was like, okay, I mean, this is something I understand. It's definitely something other people need to know and they don't know. And so I had an agency where I was doing short form content for things like this, like podcasts and just different entrepreneurs who were looking to build their personal brands. But I realized it wasn't just content. It was, you know, all the different systems. So I went all in on consulting. Now I'm just helping like high level entrepreneurs build highly profitable personal brands.
Yeah. So say if I were to come to you and I'm like, you know, I'm interested in what you're doing for people, you know, where would we start? And what does that process look like?
We would really just do an audit over where you're at right now, where you're looking to go, what you want to accomplish. I mean, I can lead you in many different directions. It's just really about what you want in goal. But first phase is just really like structuring out your offer and putting in a social strategy, because I mean, without attention, nobody's going to come to you. So starts with the offer, then we move into like a social strategy, just kind of forming that personal brand. And then we move into like what I call a predictable acquisition system, which is paid ads and funnels and all the things that go into an acquisition system. And then it moves into sales. I mean, it's a pretty simple system, but a lot of people complicate it.
No, it makes sense. Yeah. I mean, so it's just like, here's your offer, and this is how you attract all the traffic to your offer. And we're gonna refine that process so it's super efficient and it makes sense, and we're gonna get you more money, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, let's build a highly profitable personal brand. Let's build something cool. Let's build something that people want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Let's just make a lot of money doing it.
Right. And is there a lot of other people doing exactly what you do out there?
I'd say there's probably a lot of people doing what I'm doing. I mean, inside of the coaching consulting space, it's huge. Like, it's valued over $250 billion industry right now. I mean, the online education space is huge. I'm going all in on it. I mean, I'm encouraging everybody that I know to get into this space. Start selling a skill, start selling a bit of information. It doesn't take a lot to like go and learn a new skill and start implementing it and reselling that skill. So I think it's huge.
Yeah. So obviously there's a lot of other people. There's a lot of other options out there. Right. And I mean, you're young, you're 21 years old. Why would I pick you over the other people?
That's why I'm building my personal brand. Because inside of a market like what I'm in, it's a very commoditized market. And kind of like you said, there are a lot of people that are doing what I'm doing. If you go on social media and look for people doing the same thing as me, you're going to find a lot of them. There's people with groups of 1,000 people. There's groups with hundreds, and there's groups of just 10, 15, 20 people, right? Yeah. But I would say working with me is based on what you think of me, right? When you find me on social media and you see the life that I live, is it something that you could see yourself doing? Is it, do you by chance see yourself in me, right? In the future, do you want to be potentially skydiving or traveling? Do you see yourself helping people on a daily basis, taking calls and making online sales? Is that what you see? I mean, because if that's what you see, then I would say that's why you would want to work with me. You guys are going to align. Yeah, you're going to align with me, and you'll know before you meet me, right? Before you ever get on the phone with me, because I've been focused so hard on the YouTube and the Instagram and all the content, you're going to know before you even get on the phone with me.
That makes sense. Can we dive deeper in it? Like, is there like sales processes? Is there a tutorial on how to do those paid ads? Is there a tutorial on how to make the content that has a chance to go viral? Yeah. Is that all in your program?
I mean, so inside of the program, it's all about creating compelling content, driving a message, because people buy into your message, and if you're not consistent, it shows you're not consistent inside of your business. So yeah, really just like creating compelling content, driving a really solid message. And the funnel, I mean, we could really go into the funnel, because a lot of people get lost in the funnel. They just make content, post these podcasts, YouTube shorts, whatever. They have no way of driving these people into a sale.
That's the secret.
Yeah, that's the secret. I mean, you could have people, you could have attention, but if you don't have a way to get them on the phone with you or make them ready to buy, then there's just thousands of dollars being left on the table.
Yeah, I feel like funnel is like a confusing word for people. They think of like, I don't know, like different codes and stuff like that. What is a funnel to you?
A funnel is just, when you think about a funnel, you start from the top and it leads you in to where you want it to go, right? If you're trying to get all this sugar.
Like a beer funnel?
Yeah, exactly. If you want all that beer to go into your system, you're going to start it at the top and you're going to lead it where it goes. Yeah. And it's the same thing, right? When you are building a funnel, you start with the top of the funnel, which I believe is content. All the content is driving people into the funnel itself. And it starts with a landing page. And then like on the landing page, you usually have some sort of lead magnet, whether it's a free course, a free demo, an ebook, whatever. But there's going to be some kind of opt-in, whether it's your name, email, or phone number. And that's how you collect their data, so that one, you can remarket to them. And two, if you have to get on the phone with them or call them or whatever, you can. And so now you own their information. So that's super, super important, especially for like meta retargeting ads and whatnot. But from there, once they opt in, they're going to get access to your free course or your free demo or whatever it may be.
Yep.
But it's going to lead them into page 2. And on page 2, it's where you're going to have what I like to call a video, what everyone calls a video sales letter, right? On this video sales letter, you're going to take them through testimonials. You're going to take them exactly through what your offer does and how it can benefit them, why they should book a call. And you're prompting them to book a call. And so on there, at the end of the video, it's usually between 5 to 10 minutes. At the very end of the call, you're going to say, look, if you want to get the same results that everyone else has got, the best thing that you could do is just click the button below and schedule a call with me. I'll see you there, right? And they'll schedule a call, and then they go to clicking that button to ending up on your calendar.
Yeah.
Now they're finding a date and time that's best to talk to you, and they feel exclusive. They're like, oh, I'm going to get a chance to talk to this guy who has this amount of information. They start to get excited. They've then watched a video about how I can help them. They don't know how much it is, but, they're curious now.
Sure. And
so then they're booking a call. As they're booking a call, I think it's very important that people hear this. You want to have a form on your call booking page that is pre-qualifying them, that is asking them questions like, how much money are you making? What are you looking to accomplish? What are you currently doing, right? For me, I'm asking them, do you run an agency? Are you a coach? Are you a consultant? I want to gather as much information on them as I can prior to the call. I might even ask them their hobby, right? Because if they tell me their hobby, then maybe I can create some sort of common ground, build some rapport when I get onto the call. So having a form that pre-qualifies them after they are like in the process of booking their call, it's huge.
Yeah.
After they go through the booking page, it's the final step, which is like a thank you / like preparation page. They're going to watch one final video. It's about 1 minute. And you just let them know, hey, look, we don't want to reschedule. But if we absolutely have to, please let us know. Don't ghost us, because if you do ghost us, we're not going to be working with you. We want to work with highly professional people, and highly professional people would let us know in advance if they cannot make this call.
Yep.
So thank you for your time. We appreciate it. We're looking forward to seeing you. And again, if you have to reschedule, please reach out to us.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how you end it out. And now these people, they have the calendar. It's booked on their calendar and yours. You guys are prepped for a Zoom call. Now you get the chance to kind of show them what it is that you do and how you can benefit them.
So your job is to guide people throughout this entire process.
Yeah. So I show people how to build that entire system.
That's powerful, bro. And you actually do that entire system yourself as well.
Yeah, I run the whole system myself. So I practice what I preach.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And where did you learn how to do this?
I got a mentor, and I've done extensive research, dude. I mean, funnel hacking people like crazy. I'm jumping on like Facebook Ads Manager. I'm looking through everybody's or ads library. I mean, I'm just looking at everybody's different funnel systems, seeing what they're doing, see what's working, see what's not, and just like moving with the market. I mean, the thing about Facebook is like, or Meta, is they are always shifting the algorithm. There's always new changes, and the market's moving, whether it's the algorithm or not. People get bored. So just finding ways to keep up, dude.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Is there stuff that's even deeper with this, like elevating your status and your credibility, and how do you do that?
Right.
Like with your personal brand, because that's kind of where it starts. So people do click on your funnel and go throughout that entire process.
So I'm glad you asked this, because I get so heavy into the personal branding, but really the brand status 10 is super cool, because I've got a very big vision for it. But right now, the main idea is to cultivate people of status, right? Inside of the community, we want high-level entrepreneurs. We don't want people that are just here to make a quick buck, right? We want people that are here to represent, people that want to leave an impact, people who actually care about the way that they dress and the ways that they represent themselves, right?
Right.
People of status. And so the focus right now is to help cultivate a community of people like this. But in the future, I mean, status isn't always represented by the things that you have. But a lot of times when people see, your materialistic items, it does show a bit of status. Like if you're pulling up in a Ferrari versus pulling up in a Prius, like, that definitely shows a bit of status. Or if you invite people over to your place and you've got the penthouse versus the apartment on the 4th floor, definitely shows a little bit of status. And so eventually, as I grow this thing out, I really want to start moving into like the luxury rental space, luxury car rentals, luxury watch rentals, luxury real estate properties and whatnot, just so that I can kind of cultivate a brand of status.
That makes sense. How do you define status?
I almost think it's a feeling, if that makes sense, right? Like many people are going to feel different about status. Like if I look, it's hard to explain, man. You could just kind of feel it, right?
Yeah. Like obviously all these celebrities have a lot of status, or the professional athletes, they have a lot of status.
Yeah, but you can have fame. You could be a celebrity and everybody could know you, but you could have very low status, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like if people don't respect you when you walk in the room, or people are talking shit about you behind your back as you come in, like I don't see that as status. I see that as,
it's almost just like confidence and just like being exactly who you are.
Yeah. I just think status is like, having confidence and man, that's a hard one to answer.
Yeah.
Nobody's asked me that, but I know what it makes people feel.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's true. Do you think like some of the status that people have online is like fake status?
For sure.
Or like they're just trying to be someone they're not, and they're trying to just kind of like their ego and their pride just kind of gets in the way, and they do all these things so they feel like they do have status and they do have that confidence, and so that they can, get more money with that status.
Yeah, man. A lot of these guys in Miami do that. I mean, they do that big time, and it's all for the show, right?
Yeah.
And I get it. Lifestyle is what reels people in, but at the end of the day, like I'm here to leave value and impact, and I want to make people feel something. And just talking about materialistic items and the things that like I've been able to do doesn't do it for people.
Yeah.
And it might reel people in, but at the end of the day, they're not going to gain the value that they would from somebody like me who actually cares about investing my time and my energy into them and helping see them grow, So I think a lot of people do fake it. I think, and maybe they don't fake it, right? Maybe they do have Lamborghini, or maybe they do. If you can afford to go rent a Ferrari for the day, I mean, I don't think that's really faking it. I just think it's trying to show out, and there's no need to show out, right? Status speaks for itself.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you value most in life?
Give me 2 seconds.
Let me, you can pick from these 4. Family, money, your health, or faith.
Well, it's probably faith. And then when I say faith, I don't mean it in religion. I mean it in all aspects. Because personally, I'm not religious, but I believe in faith-driven activities, faith-driven relationships. I believe that my health is driven upon faith, right?
No.
So I think all those things that you listed, like, relate directly to faith. I mean, I'd say that's probably the one. Most things actually, now that you said it out loud, it's probably gonna be one of the most things that I value in life, is just because I put faith in myself every single day, even in tight spots. I put faith in myself. There was a point in life where I was broke, and I said, I am going to always have the money for the food that I want. And no matter what the situation is, I will always have the money for the food that I want. I put my faith in myself in that. And ever since, even when I don't have the most amount of money, there's always the money that I need for the food that I want. And so I think it's faith.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's faith in yourself, or is it something else? Is it something that's greater than you?
Faith as a whole, right? Like when I think about God, and I perceive God as everything. I perceive it as you. I perceive it as me. I perceive it as the energy, the grass, the earth, the stars, the sun, the moon, it all, right? But I think faith is found in everything as well, right? Like you kind of have to have faith in the fact that all of this is even worth something in its own, right? I mean, there's faith driven. Everything is driven by faith, I believe.
That makes sense. I know I kind of want to go deeper in like what you think about God. Like what you think, just everything is God? We're all God, just like together? Is that your belief, or do you think that there's like one God that created the whole?
No, I don't believe that there's one God that created everything. I just think that we're all part of this godly experience. I think that, like, to be very like honest, I think that the Bible was written in in a metaphorical way. I think it was written in like fairy tales and different fables that are meant to perceive a message, right? For us to take and actually feel something from it. A lot of people do, and some people take it literally and some people take it metaphorically. And I'm just one of those people that take it metaphorically. And I believe that book is very, very, very important.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's interesting. And I respect what you're saying, but it's crazy how like even in our language, like we say Jesus Christ, like we say the Lord's name in vain, or we like Merry Christmas, like Christ's name is in Christmas. Santa, switch the letters around, it's Satan.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like we say, oh my God, all the time. Like, why do we just naturally say those things? You know what I mean? And it's just, and just like all the correlations of the Bible where like you can see like in the Old Testament, it directs like totally with the New Testament. Like they say the same things.
Right.
And it's crazy to me. Because like there's just so many things that's like, oh, maybe Jesus was here.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm meant to know. Right. I think it's a mystery.
Yeah.
But personally, I personally can't put faith in the fact that a man walked on water, but I can put faith in the fact that it is trying to tell me something important.
Yeah.
You know?
That's good, bro.
You know, I think that it's like there's a message behind that. And I may not understand every message behind the Bible, but I definitely know that if you read those stories and you apply it to life right now, it just works.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever wrote it did a damn good job. I mean, that's for sure.
Well, there wasn't just one person. It was many.
I'm not sure.
People. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't put a lot of time in my life to like focus on that because I try not to focus on things that I can't control. But like, I just put faith in myself and everything and what I believe. I put faith in what I believe. I don't know. You know, like there was a point in time where I just didn't believe in anything and I was depressed. I literally was like, I'm going to just kill myself. I mean, this makes no sense. I was like, I live in a world where the government controls me. I have to work for taxes. None of the shit that I want to do, I can even do. Half of these cool places I want to go swimming at are like owned by the government and then I have to pay for a pass. I'm like, dude, this place sucks. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I literally was like, this sucks. And then I started taking mushrooms and then I had these kind of like realizations on these trips where I was like, all right, maybe there is more to this. Like I could feel it internally. I could feel it when I would look at the sky. I could feel it when I would talk to my friend Lawson. We would just have these deep conversations and stuff. And there was a night that I just kind of felt like I really figured out what I believe. And it's really hard to put into words. I mean, really, and it's weird because I still can't tell you if I'm going to come back or if I won't. I don't know if I'll be here again on this earth in a different body, form, figure, whatever. But I'm just happy knowing I have this chance in this life. And I'm happy to know that I'm doing everything I can to make it the coolest experience. You know?
I love that. What do you think happens after we die?
So I'm saying, I don't know, man. I'm not worried about it because whatever happens after I die is what happens after I die. I'm worried about what happens right here.
I love that.
You know,
how do you stay right here, right now? Like, how do you stay in the present moment?
I don't sometimes, dude. It's like I actually just was in a really rough mind state for a little while. For the last like 2-3 weeks, I was like working so hard, and I kind of got to this position where I was like, I forgot how far I've come. I mean, I was literally pissed off at myself for not having made $100K a month, but made my first $35,000 a month ever online. Right? I'm like, I dreamed of moments like this. I dreamed of living where I live. I dreamed of the opportunities that I have speaking on stage, impacting hundreds of people. And so now it's like, I'm sitting here working so hard and I forget. And I got so mad at myself and again, I forced myself to take some mushrooms. And when I take mushrooms, it kind of brings out these deeper inner thoughts that almost I can't conceptualize without them for some reason. And maybe I can, but it just helps me out in those moments. And I literally I came out of the bathroom, I looked at the sunset out of my apartment, I got a wraparound view of the city, and I literally was like, oh my God, what am I doing to myself? I'm destroying my mind. I have the decision to like change this frame of mind. I can live right here in this moment. And ever since probably about 2 weeks ago, since that happened, dude, I had that moment. I feel very happy. Like I was so unhappy, but now I feel so in the moment.
Yeah.
I wake up, I'm like looking at the city with a smile. I'm like more like when my girlfriend talks to me, I try to like put my phone down more now. Like I used to just always sit there and send DMs. I'm outbound messaging always just because I'm trying to maximize my inputs, right?
Yeah.
But now I just feel happier because I do live in the moment and not always do I, right? Like I've found out that life happens in seasons.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like some seasons are for the good and some seasons are for the worse. And like it's just okay. I mean, that's where I'm at. I found this out just this last month. So
Crazy.
I can't talk too much about it.
Yeah, just that little perspective change of turning like gratitude over like, oh, I can never get enough. I'm never at the right point.
Yeah.
Just turn it into gratitude.
I mean, I just told this story like 2 days ago on my YouTube channel. I'll tell it to you in like a short version real quick. But I heard Luke Belmar say this once.
Yeah.
There's a kid who has a ball of yarn. He's in elementary school. Okay. And he hated school so much. And he wanted to get out. And he literally was like walking down the hall one day and there was this old lady with this ball of yarn. And she comes up to him and she goes, "You don't like to be in school, do you?" And he's like, "I don't like to be in school, no." And she's like, "Okay, I've got a ball of yarn, but you have to be very careful with this ball of yarn because when you pull this thread, it's going to take you where you want to go. But you can't pull it too far because it might take you a little further than you want to go." And so he says, "Okay, so if I pull the thread, I can get out of elementary school?" And she says, "Yes, but be careful because you don't want to pull it too far." So he takes the ball of thread, he pulls it, bam. He accidentally skipped high school, and now he's in university. He's like, "Okay, that sucks. I didn't want to miss high school, but at least I'm here in college."
Yeah.
All right, so he enjoys it for a couple of weeks, and then he realizes how awful college really was, right? He was still in that moment. It's still part of his experience prior to the process, but he didn't want to be there in college, so he grabbed that ball of yarn and he pulled it again. He said, "Man, I just want to be at my job. I don't really want to be here learning anymore. I'd rather just be working." So he pulled it again, bam. Now he's got his job, and he likes working. It's cool. He's got some cool coworkers, but he really just wants a wife. So he grabs that ball of yarn, he pulls it just a little bit further, and now, boom, he's married. He's like, "Oh my God, I missed my wedding. What have I done?" And he's like, "Wow, I really regret doing this. Like now I'm grown, I'm married. I'm going to put this away." So he puts the ball of yarn away in a closet for a little while and doesn't think about it for the next few years. And him and his wife actually end up pregnant and having a child. And so they're preparing the nursery for this baby. And where they're preparing the nursery was where he actually stored that ball of yarn. So 3-4 years later, he finds it and he's like, "Wow, I forgot about this thing." Doesn't do anything with it in that moment though, right? He just kind of puts it away, tucks it away. And his wife leaves one day for the grocery store and he's there to watch the baby and the baby will not stop crying. It's just crying and crying and crying and crying. And he's like, "Gosh, I just want to like get to a point where this baby's not always crying." So he grabs that ball of yarn and he accidentally pulls it and his son's all grown up. And he's like, "Oh my God, what have I done? I literally have missed my entire life." And all because he was so focused on what was next. And he never wanted to focus on the moment. Whether it didn't feel like the best time right then, he regrets not just enjoying the experiences for what they are. I mean, even for the people who are in college, who don't want to be in college, know that maybe they won't utilize the college after the fact. Like, enjoy the experience while you have it, because we only have the one experience. And I heard that story, and that really hit me. And I was like, you know what? I really need to just start focusing on this moment that I have right here. It's the present moment.
Dude, I love that. Yeah, it's deep. I mean, you really got to take this moment for exactly what it is. Even if it's good or bad, just like take whatever lesson that's in that moment and just live it.
For sure.
Yeah. That's crazy, bro. So you've had a pretty crazy life. I mean, you're 21 and you've been through a lot just, you know, for your age. I mean, you could be like 35 with everything that you've gone through. You know what I mean?
I've been in 13 car accidents.
Yeah. So are you a good driver?
I think I'm a good driver, right? Like a lot of those things were actual like accidents. I will say I don't like to drive in the rain.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to drive in the rain. There's a chance I'm going to hydroplane or spin out or anything like that. Just get it away from me.
You were in a motorcycle accident, right?
Yeah, bad one.
What happened?
Kind of hard to remember, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I was out bad. It was
Mhm.
bad. I remember a guy swerving at me in his truck,
Mhm.
and I remember freaking out, kind of panicking. I hadn't been riding for long.
Mhm.
I panicked, and I went to swerve around him, and he jerked his wheel at me, and it freaked me out. And I went over, and I looked to the left, I looked to the front, and there's a pothole right there, and I'm like, oh
Mhm.
God.
Yeah.
I hit this pothole, and this pothole sends me into the speed wobbles. Well, traffic's coming to a dead stop in front of me while I have speed wobble, and there wasn't really much that I could do, and I kind of panicked. I hit the back brake. I started to slide,
Mm.
and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to hit him. I accidentally yanked in the front brake, smacked the back of the car, and flipped over it and slid across the pavement about 80 mile an hour. Everybody there, literally, they were commenting on the Facebook report on the news channel that they thought I was dead.
Mhm.
And I thought I was going to die. I literally jumped up from that moment. I ran down the hill, and I was in panic. I looked down. There was blood everywhere, dude. I mean,
Oh, you
like,
jumped up like after you flipped over the car? Like you jumped
my
up and ran down the
adrenaline
hill?
was up. I had a broken foot. Like, I was
Yeah.
bleeding everywhere. Like, it was crazy. And I jumped up and just ran because I didn't know where I was at, but I knew I was in the middle of the highway. And if
Yeah.
I got hit by a car, I was for sure dead.
Mhm.
So I was just running. And I ended up at the bottom of the hill, panicking. I'm looking down. I'm like, I'm not about to make it out of this. There's no way. I mean, there is too much blood. I'm losing too much blood.
Mhm.
So I pick out my phone. I'm like, I call my mom. I'm about to let her know, Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm not about to make it out of this one. I wrecked my motorcycle, and she didn't even believe me in the beginning. Or she just kind of thought it was like minor because I'd been in so many vehicle accidents already.
Mhm. But you were like standing and everything? You're like totally operating fine?
Kind of. My body, when it hit. I collapsed. I passed out on the phone with my mom, actually. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I told my mom I thought I wasn't going to make it, and I became unresponsive. I passed out and hit the ground.
Mhm.
And this lady, she's like yelling, no, you're not. No, you're not. And that's kind of like the last thing I remember.
Mhm.
I mean, and after that, I don't know really what happened. I was in
Yeah.
an ambulance. That's the next thing I remember was being in an ambulance. They were pumping me with all these drugs, trying to keep me alive. And it was a really wild experience. So what I do know is it was up to me in that moment, dude. If I wanted to die, I could have died. I could have really just sat there and just let it happen. I know it. I know for a fact I could have. But I was not going to. I mean, there was no way that I was going to. I actually was. And then I heard my mom, seen her. I was like, no, this is just crazy. Like, I got to keep up, like, keep awake. And they were yelling at me in the ambulance, like, stay awake, like,
Mhm.
stay awake, stay awake. Gosh, man. Just thinking about it makes me feel crazy.
That's crazy, bro.
It was, a moment changed my life.
How did it change your life?
It made me live more in the moment.
Mhm.
Like, and in a different way than what we just talked about, right? When
Yeah.
there's opportunity, I take it.
Mm.
Last time I was here, someone told me I should jump out of a plane, and I took that opportunity and ran with it. I got my skydiving license the next
Yeah.
week. When anyone asks me to go cliff jumping, I'm likely going to mark off what's on my calendar to go do some flips with you off of the cliff, you know?
Mm.
If there's a trip, I'm bound to take it. I try to live in the moment as much as I can because
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, you know?
Mm.
I could get in the car and leave here today and not talk to you ever again. You never know. So
True.
I try to make every moment enjoyable.
Mm.
After that, I mean, I was living a sad life too at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I was living a sad life. I wasn't happy with where I was at. Had I died right then, it would have been a very sad story to tell.
Mm.
Blake didn't do anything. He didn't accomplish anything at that point.
Mm.
I mean, I was just smoking weed every single day. I was at my parents' house doing nothing. Actually, I was selling weed, and I was literally the like nice kid, local drug dealer. Everyone came to me if they didn't want to get robbed, and my life was literally in shambles. And at that point, when I wrecked, I realized like, dude, this is not the life that you want to be living. Like, it ain't at all. And I actually really from there started taking a lot more chances. That's when I left and flew to a different state to start selling solar panels and took a chance and left my parents and left my hometown. Let me all over, dude.
Yeah. Mm. Now I know you got like a lot of stuff stolen from you when you were younger. And
Yeah.
it just happened over and over and over again where you would get like a lot of money and then everything would get stolen from you. Like, how did that happen? And do you think like in a sense like you're almost like attracting that energy?
It's really great question, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a lot of really like unfortunate situations when I was younger. Like
Yeah.
I would go to work with companies and they would not to go into too much detail, I don't want to ramble or rant or talk bad about anybody, but I had like $30,000 from me the first time that I ever went door to door.
Mm-hmm.
I had different solar companies that would jip me for my money, and they would tell me I'm supposed to cut a check, and they would take it, and I'd get 1,000 of maybe my $12,000 paycheck, right? Just like I was always just getting money taken from me. But there was one time unforgettable where I was in California. I've been living there for probably 6 months.
Yeah.
And I had like been gambling, and there was a guy who I guess he was out there gambling with us. And I know he was there gambling with us, actually. He followed us from the blackjack table, and we had won a decently big hand, me and my roommate Bailey at the time. We won a decently big hand, and we left, and we were going to go play at the clubs and stuff, have fun, right? Like guys do. And then
I guess you had a fake ID at the time.
At the time I was 18, but I would just sit at the tables with confidence, right? And I would put $1,000 hand down. So I mean, it was always just like,
okay.
I sat there with confidence for sure. And nobody ever questioned it.
Damn.
But yeah, so we left, we won. And then this guy was following us place to place, like to the clubs, onto the party bus, to the mall. And eventually I got to a point where I went to him. I said, bro, what are you doing? Why are you following us? Like, quit following us.
Yeah.
And I didn't see him for a little bit. Next thing I know, I kind of noticed he was further back, just kind of peeking in on us. I went up to him. I said, bro, you need to leave us alone, or like we're seriously about to get physical here in the middle of Las Vegas. I'm not joking. I'll go to jail over this. I don't care. Like, quit freaking me out, right?
Yeah.
And so after that happened, we didn't see him again. We got in our car and we drove all the way back 2 hours to Orange County, and I'm almost positive he followed us because he mentioned being there that night. He mentioned me wanting to fight him at the strip.
Yeah.
He would sleep on our back porch. He was literally stalking me. He would send me pictures of me asleep in my blinds. He would text me and be like, welcome home, Blake, all this and that. It happened to me for a month.
Damn.
I would call the police. The police wouldn't do anything but tell me to get a Ring doorbell. And I was so freaked out by it, dude. I mean, and then I'm in California, so I can't carry a pistol. I had a big-ass knife. That's all I had. And it was awful, man. I went to work one day. I came back, and all our stuff was gone. It's all gone. It's like they brought a moving truck or something. I'm not joking. Like, I couldn't quite believe it.
That's nuts.
I couldn't quite believe it. I was so freaked out.
Yeah.
And the guy, he wouldn't leave me alone. I switched my number. I moved out of there. I called my mom. I actually had just gotten robbed by that same solar company because when I told them this happened, they thought I was on drugs. They thought I lied about the whole situation, and they kept my paycheck, which was like $11K. And so I didn't get paid. I was broke. I called my mom. I said, Mom, I'm in a bad spot right now. I said, I just got everything stolen from me. I have no money. I was like 19, and my mom, I hadn't lived with them since my motorcycle accident. We weren't all, not that we were all on bad terms, but we weren't all like, I hadn't been living there for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And so she got me a plane ticket back home, and I moved back in. And from there, I picked up a camera. I started making videos. I knew that I wanted to do something different with my life after that. I was tired of door to door. I was tired of getting fucked over. I was tired of people trying to take advantage of me. I wanted to be in control of my situation. And so I picked up a camera. I always loved making videos. My mom was like, Blake, you were always really good at taking pictures and videos. You always wanted to do YouTube. Why don't you do it? And I was like, Mom, you're serious? What? You serious? I was like, you're right. So when I bought a $500 camera, started making videos with it, and by the grace of God, no joke, I started making these videos. They weren't even anything special.
Yeah.
But this girl seen something in me. Her name was Desiree. I've yet to meet this girl in person, but I will. She has changed the course of my life, literally, just by this one act. But I wanted a Sony A7 III, and I wanted one really, really bad. And I was saving and saving and saving for it. And this girl was doing a giveaway on an A6400. And ended up giving that camera away to somebody that she wasn't too fond of giving it to. And she texted me and said, hey, I just gave away this camera, but I don't think the person was really worthy of it. I would love to put something in your camera bag that would that would benefit you. And she asked me if I wanted a lens or if I wanted a camera. I said, I'm actually in the process of saving for a Sony. She said, well, I have an A6600 I'll give to you. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. I've been wanting a Sony. I'm actually in the process of saving for an A7 III.
Yeah.
She says, don't worry, I'm going to send this one to you. I got you. I'm in the process of thinking I'm about to get an A6600. And in the mail, she sent me an A7 III.
Crazy.
And I was like, what? Like the camera, I knew everything about that camera before I ever wanted it.
Yeah.
Or before I ever had it. And
That's what that camera is.
Yeah, she just so happened to send me that exact camera right there.
Yeah.
And I was able to give my camera setup away. And I actually got that camera she gifted me stolen. And I bought a new one.
Yeah.
And then I bought an A7 IV, and I took that second one and I gifted it to somebody because I just couldn't live with the fact that what she had gifted to me was stolen. And I wanted to be able to put it back out there. And actually, the guy that found my stolen camera, he bought my stolen camera, wanted to give it back to me. And I was like, you know what, dude, don't worry about it. And I sent him a G Master.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was just, the reason I say that changed my life is because that girl, I was always kind of a greedy person, right? Like I kept things to myself. And after I watched her just kind of just give, just give like that.
Right.
I wanted that. I was like, that's the way that I felt about her. I wanted people to feel about me.
Yeah.
You know?
And how do you do that to this day now?
Dude, it's as simple as giving people free advice on how to build their personal brands or maybe covering their meal in the drive-thru, right? Like just something simple, you know? But I'm just always looking for ways to like just help people out and kind of give more of me to them in order for them to feel that like I felt about her, you know? And maybe it's on a little bit of a lower extent, but the way that I felt about her in that moment is exactly how I want people to feel about me.
I love that. Would you say that you're living the dream right now?
Oh, for sure.
And where do you want to go in the future? I know we're talking about like the right now, but like what do you see?
I envision my brand as one of the craziest things, dude. I want a building in downtown Nashville, a status 10 building. And at the bottom, you could walk in, you could get access to any of our exotic car rentals. You could rent any of the watches that we've got on the showcase. You could come in and go up above there, and we're going to have a networking communal space with co-working, right? Like, I'm shooting for the big shot, bro. I want to own the private jet one day. I want to have the yacht in Ibiza, you know what I mean? I want to do it big time. I've got one shot, man.
Yeah. What do you think is the number one thing that's holding you back from getting there? Like right now, you have to put a pin on it.
I don't think anything's holding me back, man. I think truly I just have to work with the course of time. You know, like time will do its thing. As long as I stay consistent with my daily inputs and I do the things that I know that are going to move the needle, it's only a matter of time. Yeah. You know, I can't truly predict how quickly things will happen, and I can do things that are going to bring it more quickly to me for sure. Like reaching out to people and finding my way onto podcasts that are like this, which are going to create exposure, right? I can always find ways to bring it quicker to me, but I don't think there's really anything truly holding me back.
That's cool, bro. Do you like credit, getting to where you are today to anybody? Like mom, dad, your mentors, friends?
Yeah, I mean, like I could go way into it, right? Like my dad is an asshole, and he's so hard on me, and he for the longest time would shit on what I would do, and I don't think he even understood it. And now he's proud, right? But like that motivated me. Like I was so sick of my dad just hating on everything that I wanted to do that I had to prove it to him that what I was talking about was real. And my mentor Arturo, bro, changed my life completely. I mean, he was the prime example of where I wanted to go. He showed me the step-by-step, the process. I watched him get on stage and speak, and I watched him grow throughout our friendship, and it's been truly inspiring. I mean, I've never been surrounded by somebody doing $300,000 in a month, and to have a close friend that I can call at any point to gather advice was huge. My mom, bro, she loves me so much, dude. Like, literally, it's crazy. I have always had this problem where my mom frustrates me a lot for some reason, just because, I don't know, right? I really don't. It's kind of hard to explain. She just frustrates me sometimes, and I'm a little more hard on her than I should be, but I love her. She's so supportive. Yeah. And, like, I could go on and on, right? My fiance, dude, she helps me every day. She does everything for me. Madison is the best. She takes care of my clothes and my laundry. She gives me support. When I'm in an upset mood, she's like, dude, she gets it, right? Like, I'm like, I don't even understand sometimes why you even stick around with me when I'm like in such a pissed off state, right? Like sometimes business can get hard. It could be stressful, and like that kind of like bleeds out, and I don't like that. But she's been a trooper, and my best friend Lawson, dude, from the start. I mean, we had a friend group that was so bad. It was all twisted sideways. I love all those people, and it doesn't mean that I don't love them, right? But we were in it bad, partying every day, drinking, playing beer pong every day. Like, it was 10 blunts a day. It didn't matter. Like, smoking a dab cart a day. Like, it was bad. I'm not joking.
Damn.
And so I got to this point where I was like, yeah, I don't want this for my life. And Lawson didn't either. And Lawson was my best friend, and we chose to just, like, take this on together. He's been my best friend through it all. We've moved from state to state to state.
I love that.
I mean, I don't know what will happen, but I know no matter where I go, that motherfucker's going to be there.
Damn, bro. Yeah, I love Lawson.
He's sick, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool to see both of you guys kind of come up and, like, just, like, in such a short amount of time, like, both of you just gotten so much better, and even, like, you know, just, like, your conversations and just your character and your status.
Literally.
It's really cool to watch.
I remember the first time I got on one of these mics, I was just, like, losing my train of thought, thinking about what everybody else was doing. And, like, what's really cool is to watch how quickly things can change. Like, how present we've been in this conversation. Yeah. Right? Like, it's cool because when you're thinking about the next thing that you're going to say, you forget about what's actually happening in the moment. Yeah. And that was what I would do a lot of times when I would come on to these mic sessions or talk with people. And now it just ties right back into just being the present, you know?
Yeah, it's got to be, and that's it.
Yeah.
Just let it come.
So, I mean, but real quick, what about you? Because you have been doing these podcasts, and you moved out here to get into this podcast house, and you were doing the documentaries. Are you still doing that? Like, tell me a little bit.
Yeah, bro. It's been a crazy journey. I mean, I started filmmaking probably about 2 years ago. Before that, it was like American Ninja Warrior. Like, American Ninja Warrior was my life. Like, I went to Vegas. I was competing around the country. Got really good at it. Placed inside the top 10 1 year. That was a crazy experience. And then life kind of like went downhill. My dad died, and that went downhill. But then I started a business, and then that fell apart. And it was like, I don't know what I want to do. And then it brought me to filmmaking finally. And now I'm traveling around the world, you know, going to Hawaii, going to Paris, going to Utah, going to Texas, just like going all over the place and just meeting amazing people. And then there's another part of my life where I get to go to these events where we work on mindset and dealing with like past trauma, and then I'm helping other people do that now. And that's probably been like the biggest blessing. It's just like helping other people through all the shit that they've been through in life, and just like loving them exactly where they're at. Because a lot of people don't get that. Yeah.
It's really hard to do.
Yeah. So that's probably like the biggest thing that is like kind of like transformed me in my life.
That's super cool. I mean, so, because I remember when I met you, I was just getting into the videos. I was like, this is the new thing that I'm going to do.
Sure.
And then, like, I was so inspired by you. I was like, dude's got all the cameras and all the equipment. I was like, he's out here doing it. And, like, I was watching your videos. And I was like, all right, this is really cool. And I remember, like, you had just moved here. So what's your experience in Nashville kind of been like since you got here?
I like it, man. I mean, I've been traveling probably like at least like a quarter of the time and going back home sometimes. So like I'm still like not even like settled down here, to be honest with you. Yeah. But I mean, I got a girlfriend already. She's amazing. So
here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just met her.
Yeah. You met her the other day.
Nice.
So that's huge for me. It's like a homey city here, and like I love the people, a lot of open-minded people, a lot of creatives.
Yeah.
Living with Ace is different.
Cool.
It's awesome.
Ace is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, we push each other. I mean, when the first week I got here, we maybe second week, we ran a marathon just off the bat, no training. Just went out and ran it. Right. And now we've had another guy move in, and we're helping him get in shape. And yeah, it's just a full circle. We have people coming in all the time. What's his name again?
Who's cool? I met him the other
Noah.
day. Noah, yeah.
Yeah, he runs his own like podcast agency. So he's a big part of this.
I love it, man. Everybody's just chasing the dream, dude. Like, and none of us are out here clocking into a job. Nobody's telling us what to do. We're literally just building our reality consciously. And it's so cool.
Yeah, I feel like there's a little bit of a dangerous aspect when it comes to that freedom, because like you can kind of just like do whatever you want to do. And sometimes it's like hard to keep on track, but I do love it at the end of the day. But sometimes I do find myself like, oh, I should have done that today, you know?
Yeah, I'm always like that. I'm like,
Yeah,
but that is the hard part about entrepreneurship,
it
is, right?
is.
It never ends.
Never.
Like when you don't have somebody to tell you what to do, you don't have a time schedule to clock into, you know that there's a task, there's always new tasks.
Always.
So it's up to you whether to pull the trigger and say, hey, look, it's 6 o'clock. I'm going to cut the computer off, because if I don't, I'll be working all night long, because the tasks, they just don't end, right?
Never. Yeah.
And when the one is over, there's a new one. Even if there's not one written on paper,
That's hard to
haven't
accept, that it's never gonna end. Like it almost feels like I can get to the end. No, you can't. There's another one.
No, you can't. I mean, it's forever. You have to commit to that as an entrepreneur. Like, I had to struggle with that for a while, because I kept wanting to get up. I'd get up, stop.
Yeah.
Enjoy the money I got. Forgetting, and I lose momentum. The key is to just stay consistent, knowing, like, and putting in proper time blocks. Like on my calendar, I know that I'm not working on Sunday. I work on Saturday because I want to be one day ahead of the crowd, right?
Yeah.
But I don't work on Sundays, and like I dedicate specific times in my mornings to specific workouts and certain things. And it's like, if I don't get something done, all we have is time, truly, right? Like, it's all that we have, and I know that it'll be done tomorrow. And if it's not done tomorrow, it'll be done the next day. And if it's not done the next day, it will be done.
Yeah.
And sure, maybe it will delay the speed at which I get the result, right? But that's on me. I have the decisions to make. And so, like, it's just about not being too hard on yourself and just literally letting life be life, and just trying to get 1% better every day.
Sure. Yeah. What advice would you tell people that maybe they're in your situation that you were in, I don't know, a year ago, where, you know, they're living at home, they don't really want to sign to the 9 to 5, and they're thinking about doing their own thing, but it's scary and they don't really know how to do it. So basically talk to your 19-year-old self.
I mean, if you are maybe coming out of high school, or even if you're not coming out of high school and you've just been in corporate America for 20 years and you just got all the same friend groups, you've been doing the same thing in the same path, right?
Yeah.
Not really sure where to go. I think the most important thing that you can do is take a step back, assess your situation, ask yourself what it is you want to do, right? Do you want to work with your hands? Do you want to work with people? Do you want an online business? Do you want a brick and mortar business, right? And to kind of figure that out, and just remember that, like, the ideas that you have, they can be made to be real. Yeah. And like anything that you could think that you can have. And so I would say, if you are, like I said, 19, whatever, you can create this reality just through daily actions, finding what resonates with you, building skills, applying those skills, talking to more people about what you're diving into. Because if you're the only person that's learning application, right? But then you don't go talk to anybody, nobody knows about what you're doing, there's no ways to get what you're doing out there, and it's going to eventually kind of fall off. Yeah. And so just build skills, apply those skills, talk to more people. I mean, it's really not that hard. Yeah. You have to learn sales and you have to learn acquisitions and all this, but that's not what I'm talking about. That's all the complicated shit that you'll figure out once you get yourself into this space. I think it's this breakthrough mindset that you kind of have where it's like, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this life I'm living. I don't want this, because like I said, I was half in, half out for the longest time. And I think that's where most people get stuck. It's like, I don't want this, but I don't know where to go. Well, nobody knew where to go. None of us knew where to go. We all literally took a chance. We took the leap. We started the research. We figured it out. 9/10 of us start the business, fail the business, start it again, fail the business, start it again, fail the business, and then succeed. Yeah. Right? It's like, you're not gonna get this overnight.
It's a tough path to choose, bro. I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's not the easier path, and I think a lot of people think that.
Hell no, it's the way harder path. It is being an entrepreneur is way harder than working the 9 to 5 or being in corporate America. The truth is, when you have that job and you get your paid salary, you can budget it easier. You can have your time when you know your time is here. You know, at 7 o'clock, for the end of the day, you have your time. On these days, you have your time. Nothing's calling you out when you're busy. It's literally so much harder than working that.
Especially in the beginning.
It's
Because eventually
general.
you can get people to work for you so you can save your time and just focus on the things that you're really good at. But it takes a long time to get to.
I mean, and no matter what, you manage it.
Yeah.
And there are people who get to points where they have everybody doing everything for them, but then they pay themselves on salary.
Yeah.
You know, and usually it ain't a lot. I mean, there's people that run $200 million businesses but pay themselves $1 million a year.
Yeah.
That's $1 million of $200 million a year just because they built the business. The game is more fun than anything, right? Like if you focus on money, you're gonna freaking hate it. It's like
it's almost like another sport. Like just entrepreneurship, I almost view it as it's another sport. It's another game.
You have competition. I mean, you're looking to hit metrics. You're looking to freaking score.
Yep.
I mean, seriously, like I look at a major score. Like you could do a field goal. Right, and that's a sale, or you could get a touchdown, and that's a paid in full, right?
Yeah.
So it is definitely a game for sure. It's a fun one too.
Yeah. What do you think is the number one skill that you must have to be an entrepreneur? Obviously, it's different.
You gotta have like determination, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, the number one reason most people don't make it in entrepreneurship is because they give up on themselves. If you don't give up, you could literally die trying, and that means you didn't fail, right? You may not have gotten where you wanted to go, but you didn't fail because you died trying. And like, I just think determination is the most important thing as an entrepreneur. You're going to have the highs. You're going to have the lows. There's going to be months where you got 50 grand coming into your account. And there's going to be months where you're fucking running on the credit card and you're asking yourself, am I going to make it? But you will, right? It's determination.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing that you can have as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, they have that dream and they know what their dream is, but they just think it's so far out or it's impossible. But I would say, like, if that dream is in your head, then it's possible. And it's in there for a reason.
This is a crazy thing, right?
Yeah.
I thought about this. I was like, what do I want? What do I want to build? I literally thought about it. And I was like, what do I want to build? Not what is everybody online building?
Yeah.
What is everyone else doing that could work for me? It was like, what do I want? Well, I want to build a network of high-level entrepreneurs. I want to take incredible trips. I want to drive fast cars. So I'm going to get into the luxury car rental space. I'm going to rent high-level properties. I'm going to build a community of high-level entrepreneurs while teaching them the shit that I've learned that's helped me get to where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I wanted. And I didn't have that. Not even a year ago. I didn't have that. But one single day is all it took for me to make the decision to dive in. And I went all in.
What does all in look like?
I mean, dude, I quit my job. I stayed at my parents. I cut all expenses. If it had to keep me alive or I wasn't buying it. Right? Like it had to keep me alive or I wasn't buying it, or it had to keep my business running. Right? And so all in, dude. I was all in. If you're not all in, if you're half in, it's weird how energy works, man. Like, or God knows, I guess, is what people say. Like, it don't work for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't believe that side hustles work. You can have a separate business.
Yeah.
If you want, and that would work. But a side hustle is just another distraction.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there is no plan B.
No, it's all in, make it work. And like for me, right? I don't want to build a side hustle. I don't want to get into like renting cars on the side. Like I'm like, let me build an incorporation. Let me turn Status 10 Incorporated. Let me actually build an exotic fleet and start doing everything the right way the first time.
Yeah.
And if it fails, I'll redo the shit. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole part of the game. I'm still young.
Right. Yeah. What would you say, if you had to put a pin on it, what is your purpose?
What is my purpose? Probably, man, when I was younger, like I was always picked on. People didn't have faith in me. They didn't know what I was going to do. And I always talked about it, right? I think my purpose is not only just to show people and talk to people and inspire to people, but like actually be a like a case study for people. Like I want people to look at me and be like, wow, like I want to live like that. And I want to spend my days speaking to crowds of people, talking among the internet and inspiring hundreds, if not millions of people about how they can break into this new version of themselves and ultimately cultivate a life that they love.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like my purpose is. I mean, it's the only thing that I want to do. Literally every day, the only thing that I can think about is just finding people like me who want to go where I want to go, who want to build a community of just like driven people that are like, all right, let's get this shit. Let's build highly profitable personal brands. Let's get rich. Let's go on trips together. Let's have fun. Let's build friendships.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what I want.
Yeah, I love that. It fires me up.
And what's crazy is I say that about my business. And my business isn't my purpose, but I'm utilizing my purpose throughout my business. I'm gonna use my business to fulfill my purpose. If that makes sense.
That makes sense. I love that. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about?
I want to know just like you know, what's one of the biggest things that you're working towards to achieve? Like, what's one major goal that you like?
Man. You know, we had the event here, but it wasn't like my event, like here. I wanna create my event, and I want it to be super freaking powerful, where I help people reach their full potential, help people like realize what their dream is, and make them go for that dream. And kind of similar to the events that I've been to, like help people with the shit that they've been through, all the trauma and all the things that they need to overcome in order to go for what they really want to go for. So I would say a big goal this year is to throw my own event, and I know the first one's not going to be perfect at all, but yeah, we're gonna throw one.
That's gonna.
And
be
I want it to be catered to like my generation. So like people like you and Lawson, I want you guys to be there for sure.
Yeah.
And
is it a paid event or is it host it for free? Or what do you think
to be determined. We'll see.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, that is seriously cool. I had this.
Yeah.
I like had this kind of idea, like doing masterminds and like hosting events it's so cool, and there's a lot that goes into it. And I really I would love to see you get that done, and before 2024, because I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And you said it, right? You said it on mic.
I did, yeah. I said it before too, so
yeah,
I got to do it now. Yeah, I want it to be like just literally just one day, but like you get done with that day, you're like, oh my God.
So what are some of the things that have happened to some of these other events that you've been to, which have really been impactful for you, that maybe you want to implement into this event of your own?
A lot of it's just like the things that the devil has a hold on you on. Like a lot of people feel like they'll never be loved, or I'll never be enough, or like that one thing that my father did, it will haunt me for the rest of my life, or I'm going to be just like my father. A lot of these things, or just like limiting beliefs that just hold you back, like, or addictions that you have to overcome. I would say those things, and just like making people harder human beings, more resilient, like physically, mentally, emotionally, and just being able to find out who you truly are.
Are there going to be any like physical,
for sure,
grit activity?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me, dude. I think I'm going to sign up for a 100-mile race this year. I've done 50s. I've been on American Ninja Warrior. I like to put on the gloves sometimes. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some of that.
I watched a guy who did like 100 miles.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was more.
Probably.
But it probably was. It was like maybe 250 or something. But
yeah,
he was taking these 3-minute naps. And when he would take these naps, his girlfriend or wife or whatever was like massaging his legs. And like he would, for 3 minutes, and then he would get up and he would just get a little bit of energy.
Yeah. Yeah. We have no idea what we're capable of.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it is ridiculous. I actually can remember, I was like, I went diving. I moved to Hawaii, and I would only hold my breath for like a minute and a half. And this guy was like, no, you can't. He was like, trust me. He was like, I know what it feels like. You're going to hold your breath.
Yeah.
You're going to get to 2.5 minutes, and you're going to feel like you're going to pass out. Just keep going. Just keep going.
Yeah.
And he was like, and if you panic, just move through it. Just move through it. And we went through this cave, dude. I was so freaked out. My body felt like I was going to drown. Felt like I was going to pass out. And I felt this just calm kind of come over me.
Yeah.
And we swam underwater for 5.5 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
It was insane.
That's crazy.
It was insane.
Did you have to train to get to that point?
No, that's what I'm saying. It was
like, oh really? Like you could just do it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I didn't believe that I could do it.
Like you held your breath for 5.5 minutes without any training?
And then I only could do it for like about a minute and a half. And the guy was so crazy. He was like, he believed in me. He believed I could do it.
Yeah.
And with him believing in me, I mean, if some random dude believed that I could do it, he don't even know me. And if he thinks I can do it, I mean, why shouldn't I do it, right? If he thinks I can, sure I can.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to doubt him if he can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went for it, bro. I literally just went for it. And I was like, under there panicking, under a cave in the ocean, couldn't even swim out if I wanted to. Like, couldn't. And I just kept moving through it. Moving through it. My body felt like a freaking balloon. Like, I felt light. Like, it was weird. But I say that because you said it's crazy what we're capable of. Yeah. And I had just to put myself in that situation and move through it. And I was like, I didn't think I was possible.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's crazy. My buddy did a double Ironman. For people who don't know, it's a 5-mile swim, 224-mile bike ride, and a 50-mile run after.
Yeah, no thanks.
And he tapped out like halfway through the bike, like literally tapped out. He was in his car, like asleep, and he's like, "Guys, I'm done. Like, I didn't really train that hard for this." Like, he absolutely tapped out. He quit multiple times. We were there for like 20 minutes trying to talk him into it, and eventually, somehow, some way, we get his shoes on. He goes out. He pumps the rest of the bike out. He gets done with that. He wants to quit again. And then we send him out there for the run, and I think 12 hours later, he finishes the whole thing. But he tapped out probably like 20 times. Like, he didn't think he had it in him at all. I mean, it was probably like a 36-hour, 40 hours, like barely getting any sleep, taking little naps, but somehow, some way, he did it, and he had it in him the whole time.
It is really weird.
Yeah.
You know, like, I went skydiving, and the guy, he said, I kind of had, they have these hand signals that they do, and it's like, when you skydive, they want you to remember it. And so I had almost like forgotten, and I didn't. Well, I thought I'd forgotten. The guy was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. When you'll remember in the sky." And I was like, "What? Like, these are important hand signals I need to know." Like, he's like, "You'll remember in the sky," and I didn't really get it in the moment, but I got it afterwards because it was like, my mind. He said, "Your mind has the information. You'll remember it in the sky." And he had already told it to me one time, but I'd kind of forgotten it. Yeah. But I got there right there in the sky, and as soon as I needed that information, it was there.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's like the intuition or instincts is kind of like take over.
Just our comes over.
Essence. Yeah. Wow.
Just like when you have somebody, like if you're in danger and somebody's chasing you, you could probably run.
Oh, dude, you run so fast.
Not only fast,
next
but
thing you know how to do parkour and free running. Like,
and you're running so fast.
Yeah.
And far for a long period of time, longer than you ever thought you could.
Yeah, if you had to jump from building to building, you do it.
You would if you're about to die.
Yeah, it's nuts. I want to challenge you to this something physical, anything. It could literally be like just one day you do like this crazy workout, or it could be a marathon. Is there anything that like you've always wanted to do that you haven't done yet?
Dude, I'm really want to do a muscle up, man. Like
muscle up.
Yeah, like I've been working on the muscle up. I don't know if that's really like one like thing, but but more like, what are you thinking? Like, I don't like to run. I'm trying to grow in size.
Maybe you should then.
What about like
how much weight are you trying to gain weight right now?
Yeah, I have a goal for 215.
215. What are you at right now?
Well, I wanted to do it for 1 year from when I started, so it'll be probably like May or April.
How much you weigh right now?
180.
180.
I started at 172 though.
Okay.
And that was 3 months ago. So I'm putting on a little bit of size. I definitely can see
drugs?
No. Okay. Just 5 meals a day.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. So how many calories are you eating right now?
I don't know, but a shit ton. Yeah. And I only eat clean. Okay. I don't have any bullshit in my pantry.
Yeah. Good. So muscle up. I like that.
But I also feel like it could be something different. Like, but I also don't know. Like physically, I'm not running a marathon. That's for sure. I was going to. I said I was going to, and then
for me, I feel like running. It's like the hardest thing that you could take on.
It is. I mean, it's the mindset thing there, right? Like, my buddy Lawson and I were gonna run a marathon. I even bought it, signed up for it, got a suit and everything. I was like, "Fuck it, I'm ready." Yeah. I was gonna sponsor him and everything, paid for his race, like, and then ended up, I didn't want to do it. I was like, you know what? Screw this.
It sucks.
I went out there and we were gonna run 2 miles, and Lawson was like, "Let's keep going," and I was like, "I'm done." But I just kept running through the "I'm done." I kept running and kept running and kept running, even though I was done. We got to like 4.5 miles, and I ain't never run that far. But at 4.5 miles, I was like, all right, I'm done. This is it. But I ran 2.5 more miles than I'd expected. And so it definitely is one of the harder things to take on. But what about like
let's how about the Murph? You ever do the Murph?
What is that?
It's a 1 mile run, and then you got to do 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and 300 squats, and then another 1 mile run. And you could do it with a weighted vest. I've actually never done it with a weighted vest.
You want me to run with a weighted vest?
We could.
I don't even run.
We don't have to do a weighted vest.
You want to do it together?
We could do it together.
All right, let's do it. So we'll put that on the calendar. We'll make a video out of it, like a vlog.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, we got called out, and I'm gonna call you out to do the event. You let me know when it is, and we'll make a really cool video out of it.
I love it.
Have a good time.
Cool. You want to shout out your Instagram, and if someone wants to work with you, how would they do that?
Yeah. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can find me at I am Blake Thompson. I'm also on YouTube at Blake Thompson. And if you want to work with me, if you've heard some of the stuff from this conversation, and you're like, I actually like that guy, I kind of like what he's doing, and I really want to be a part of it, message me on Instagram. I'd rather just have like a personalized conversation. If we got to set up a call, we'll set up a call. Love to talk to you guys. But yeah, dude, I really appreciate it.
Good stuff, bro. Great having you on.
Thanks, bro.
Take care, guys.